Hello, everybody. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. I hope your life is okay. Hope things are okay around you. Hope you're all prepared for Christmas. Are you ready for that big day that comes once a year that everybody suddenly pretends they're happy and everything's good? Everybody's giving people gifts and forget what the real reason behind it even means. All right. I'm going to get into a couple different things today. This is for everybody. It's not separate for one group of people or one race or one anything. It's for everybody. And it's called truth. Truth about everything you think you know. All right. I know people always have this sentence and they come out and say, well, I know I have my truth. And if you ask them what it is, they'll say, it's my truth. I can't tell you. Really? Well, what's truth if it's only useful to you? Truth should be useful to the world, to the universe, to everybody. Because the real truth is, if anyone knows what it is or wants to deal with it. Sorry, I've been in a little bit of a hurry trying to get everything ready for today. All right. Now, I'm going to go through different religions, bring them together, bring them, separate them, however you want to look at it. I'm going to go into every aspect of our belief system and where we got it from, who we follow, and all that. So any questions, please put them in the chat room. Anybody's welcome to come on if they want to. All right, ask questions live. It's your choice. And please, everybody, send this link to everybody else you know for the holidays. Say, here's a happy Christmas from Mr. Hawksblood himself. All right, people. Enjoy your holiday. Hope it's everything you want it to be. Desire and wish. Hope everything gets fulfilled. Hope it stays in a nice zone and doesn't go into any major disasters. But as we all know, Christmas is a time for the highest number of suicides. Why? Because of relationships that have fallen apart, separated, or people that died. Is it a good thing or not? That's a choice. What's happening to the planet, which I just want to mention before I get into all this other stuff. UN Agenda 21-30. The most dangerous sentence or words put together, meaning the disaster to the planet, what's going to happen, and one world order. It's not a dream. It's not make-believe. 193 countries agreed on it. Not one, not two, not three. And I could tell you this, China is not part of it. China wants to be the controlling force on this planet sooner or later. That's what they're striving for. They want to take control of the moon. They want to take control of the planet. They want to take control of every country. They're building armies on top of armies out. They're creating islands and creating more army bases in the ocean. And they're preparing for a major takeover. I mean, they already said they want to take away the Philippines, close up their waterways. I mean, they have their plans all laid out. And they're not changing much. Biden's giving them a hard time. Trump was kind of trying to be friends with them. All right. China is a country that destroyed Tibet, the most spiritual point on the planet. I'm not saying they're the highest spiritually, but they're the most spiritual on the planet because most of those people pray all day long. And they're not into everything else that the United States and every other country is into. All right. They eat very little. They have very little money. So they are there praying, all right, for the world, not just themselves. They're not selfish people, or they weren't. China took them over, destroyed, raped, destroyed 250 temples, raped so many lamas and their wives, women and stuff like that. It's horrible what they did. They put about 1,500 people in prison. So, you know, sorry about that. I got problems. My partner's leaving. The dog's going crazy. But outside of that, there's a lot of things happening. I'll get into the UFO world probably last. Because the UFO world has nothing to do with spiritual growth or truth and awareness. I'm not talking about scientific awareness and scientific knowledge, because that's useless, people. It will never help anybody attain anything spiritual or any kind of spiritual awareness. All right. Think about all the wars that happened on this planet, all the races that were here, and why there's none here now from ancient times. all the different giant races that were here and all the different races that came here. Why they're not here? All right, well, they're visiting here. Why? Like I said, I don't want to get into that now. I want to start off with religion, the number one biggest number of people on the planet. There's 2.5 billion Christians. There's 2 billion Muslims. And then we can go into Hinduism and all the other religions down, less. Ekankar, Hinduism, Buddhism is now, it was always a world religion. When they came into the United States, they said the Eastern leads the Western. I mean, they said a lot of things, but religion is a man-created idea. All right? God didn't come down and say, here's a religion, people. We would have one religion if that was even close to the truth. All right? And the idea, what God does, I'm going to get into that after we get through some of these religions first. I just had a big discussion with a Christian family. A nice family, 4 kids. And they just moved here. They're building a house. They build a house and then they move. They build a house and then they move. They sell the house and move. So they move around building houses and that's how they live. But she's a full-fledged Christian. And she was talking about, she wanted to pray for me, wanted to pray for this family that came along and they started talking to us. I saw what she was, but I gave her information. You know, at least she listened. The boy, I don't know, 10, 12, was already programmed deeply in Christianity, but he had a lot of questions. And he was a lot more aware of what he was asking because children go outside the box. Here's the box you see me on the screen. Outside of that. And they look for information and truth beyond that. They don't stay within the box. They don't pick up the Bible and say, everything in this Bible is my truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. It's not, never was. All right, I want to just go into the Bible because everybody says, well, the Bible says this. Well, so what? Who wrote it? Who wrote what? What part was written by who? Moses wrote the first whole part of the Old Testament, sorry. And the New Testament was written by who? Now, if you understand Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the 4 names in the New Testament. All right. Realize this, people, and Christians don't even know it or even have a clue. 2 of those names are evangelists. 2 of them were disciples. So figure that out. The 2 that were evangelists, I'll tell you this. 1 worked with Peter and 1 worked with Paul. You know, anything about the Bible or anything about what it says and stuff, Paul never met Jesus physically. All right, all the other disciples met with Jesus, but Paul never did physically. So his evangelist that followed him was listening to a person that never really met Jesus, actually recreated his own ideas. So if you go through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you'll see comparisons, and 2 of them are very much the same because they plagiarize on what the other one said. If you didn't meet Jesus, obviously you have nothing to say. And these people that write what other people say is just a repeater of what somebody else said without the experience. I've been on this island almost 20 years. All right. Getting back to the idea of what's happening. All right. The Bible has been a program growing and growing. And it's, you know, people, men in general, because before the Bible was written, people, all right, I'm not saying before the Old Testament was written, but before it became the Bible, the Old and the New Testament, all right, love did not exist. And that's probably the most important word for 95% of the people on this planet. All right, maybe 2% never had love in their life. Another percent doesn't even know what it means. I mean, and then how many people believe in God, understand love, or understand God with the idea of what love means? All right, that's perceptions that's not perceived by most people. I might get into that, but I want to continue with this Bible idea because this is basically, we're coming on Christmas and what it really means and what people are going out being. Should all people be happy for Christmas? Why? Why should they? Because they're going to get a gift. People are giving everybody gifts, and it's a happy day, happy week, happy time. Well, does anybody really care about what was going on when Jesus was alive? What really happened, very few people know. I said I had a discussion with a real religious family. And she goes, well, what proof do you have? And I said, first off, do you believe in reincarnation? Most Christians do not. And they got their reasons, because it doesn't say it in the Bible. It doesn't talk about it. Because it doesn't talk about what Jesus was teaching in the Bible either. When he preached to the people on the mountain, he was preaching to people, lame people, I'm not going to say homeless people, but homely people that have very little, just came out because they wanted to hear something. All right. And he preached simple to them. All right. And basically, when he was teaching his disciples, he was teaching them something. You can't teach love. How do you teach love? You don't. All right. Now, on top of that, he was teaching his disciples technique for a lot of reasons. One, how to get in touch with God. Two, the abilities that God grants people that are aware and spiritually headed and becoming. All right. Meaning the powers that Jesus had. All right. Now, when he was killed by many of his own followers, you would have to ask yourself why. Because they didn't understand what he was teaching. Real simple. He had to use words for simple-minded people, like father. Everybody knows what their father is. Love wasn't a real common word. It wasn't an accepted word. Women weren't objects of love. They were objects of sex and work and slavery. And sorry, people, that existed all the way back to the beginning of time. Well, when Atlantis was destroyed, it suddenly changed. Atlantis was the only time, I don't care what anybody tells you, what religions say, what people say, was the only time this planet was actually the Garden of Eden. All right? And it was destroyed because alien races didn't want it. They wanted slaves. They wanted puppets. They wanted all these words. They did not make us people either. People that accept beliefs and stories and people's writings, just because they're old, doesn't make it real. If somebody found all my books 100,000 years from now, would they say this is all the truth? It would be, but would they believe it to be? Of course not. When you find hieroglyphics, they're wrong. All the hieroglyphics in the pyramids and stuff, look at them. Look at their translation of reincarnation. Look what they did to people that were supposed to reincarnate. Aliens were playing with them. Their so-called gods played with their minds. It started after Atlantis was destroyed. They taught humans, all right before the Atlantis went down, there were 9 races here. I'm just telling you, if you ever decide to experience it, you need to experience it yourself. You got to do it. But 5 races left. And they were colored races, not just black, white, red. The ones that stayed here, black, yellow, red, and white, stayed here. All the other colors left. The purple race, the green race, all right, the crystal race, they left. All right. They became spiritually aware and left. They didn't need to stay here or didn't want to. Because as alien races came down and started wars and destroying everything, humans became affected by that. And then they were programmed to eat animals. We didn't eat people. We didn't eat animals. We didn't eat anything like that. We only ate vegetables and fruits. Then they were taught how to kill. Humans in Atlantis did not kill each other, ever, until the alien races came down. All right? And then they were taught all these other horrible words. Sacrifice, which is a real evil word, which existed among the Egyptians, the Mayans. The Aztecs and the Mayans were constantly fighting each other. We had a horrible scenario of what was going on. Somebody's asking, where's Atlantis? Basically, it was the planet. The whole planet was one continent originally, and it split apart. But that's beyond time, beyond space, whatever you want to call it. But basically, Atlantis is called Atlantis because it's considered the Atlantic Ocean, not the Pacific Ocean, not and everywhere. But there's cities here in Hawaii, and they're alien cities under the ocean. There's so much changing in history by alien races. I don't want to get into that now because they can change history and they make us believe different things. Unknown artifact, unidentified object that came from a different time frame is not real in our viewpoint, but there it is, looking at us in the face, something that cannot exist. But let's get back to this whole thing about the Bible. When it was created, all right, they had to take a couple Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. There was 40. Mary Magdalene had manuscripts. Judas had manuscripts. Thomas had manuscripts. But they picked ones that they can keep control of people. And that's why the Bible was created the way it was. All right. I'm not going to go into the 10 Commandments in great detail either, because basically they were morals to live by. They were laws to live by, if you want to say that. People don't want to believe in laws, but you live life with every law that the United States make, or whatever country you're in. All right, everything you do is under a law. You can't smoke, you can't drink, you can smoke, can't smoke, can smoke. Whatever the law is, you can have sex. No, you can't. It's against law. You can't have children with sex. Children sex. You can have children with animals. No, you can't. Yes, you can. All these ridiculous laws about different things change. The word 69 was a sexual position. It was outlawed in half of the United States, and it's still on the books if you go in the books of ancient history and records. So what do you want to believe? What do you want to follow? Who do you want to believe? What do you want to accomplish in a lifetime? This one. All right. This is the one that you attained and should have attained everything you went through in all your lifetimes. How many people do that? How many people are aware of their last life even? Why would you reincarnate over and over again if you don't remember what you go through? It's like being on a... Do you ever watch Groundhog Day? He's going around the same day over and over and over. And basically he really decides that he did everything he could. There is no longer no space to go. All right? You realize that it is ending. There is no more that you can do, learn, or become here. Well, now we can go to Mars. We can go to the moon. So, does that change you? Does that change your awareness? Does it change what you believe in? No, you want to believe in your religion. All right? The UFO people want to believe in their stories that people tell. Translations of, like, I don't know. Let's start with Edgar Cayce. All right, then we can go into Zecharia Sitchin, who talked about the Anunnaki. And more people today believe we came from the Anunnaki and they created us. People let go of God to follow an alien race. Zero proof. There's no proof of basically anything on this planet. Well, I could see, I could touch it. How do you know you're not dreaming? When you wake up from a dream, how do you know that wasn't real? And you're going back into another dream. All these things people have no perception or even try to perceive. That's why The Matrix, I can't wait, the 22nd it comes out, was a demonstration of that. If you follow through the first couple of them, it's a great mind opener to understand the reality that we're creating for ourselves to live in, which isn't good. Nothing we do is good, people. Do you understand that too? Well, if we have world peace, what would world peace mean? Nobody wants to go there either. John Lennon wanted world peace, but he had drugs and sex involved with it as well. John Lennon, I thought, was one of my idols because he was doing something at least. All right. And look, you want to go into the facts? He was killed by the government. Oh, I said something bad. Well, think about it. He was the only person that could have created world peace and was very close to creating it. For the last 10 years of his life, the government was on top of him because his son and his wife in another country and all these things harassing him to the max. He didn't have time to really focus. And guess what? He was abducted by an alien. Facts. Whether you want to know that, I'm going to get into that maybe later. So let's keep with the program. People want to follow the Bible. All right? Again, the stories are there, half twisted, half written by man. No man can tell the story from start to finish 100% right, the way it happened or the way it was. They didn't take shorthand when Jesus was speaking. They didn't have a tape recorder, and they didn't have a video camera. So what were they recording? These people couldn't write. And if you go ask any speaker, right now, how much does a person remember from a workshop? If the workshop's 2 hours, they're lucky if they remember 10 to 15 minutes of it. Seriously. Leave a workshop and then write down everything you remember and know. How much do you remember? I mean, in detail of what was really going on about a specific thing. And it's what catches your attention when a person's talking. They're not listening to facts. Facts are like useless to most people. All the facts I give you, well, I don't care. I don't believe that. I don't care. You don't care. So you're not going to listen to it in any great detail. When I tell you this is hell, planet Earth is hell, created for that reason. Oh no, this is heaven. Heaven what? What's good about it? Nothing. What does mankind do good? Nothing. In the past 30,000 years, what did man create that's spiritual? Think about it. Nothing. What did they create outside of that? A lot of toys to play with, including sex toys, cars, spaceships. Nothing else. None of that pertains to God. None of that pertains to the worlds after you leave this realm. Where is your attention, people? What do you believe in? What do you want to follow? The Pope, the President, Trump? Where do you think it's going to get you? Paying your bills, paying your taxes? Is it going to get you free medical anytime soon? Canada had free medical a long time ago, and it worked for them. I was there when they actually raised it to $100 per person per year because they raised cigarettes and they raised beer. And the taxes on that went skyrocketing. A case of beer was 10, went to $22. I went up to Canada. I was going on a fishing trip for a week with my nephew up there. And they just raised the taxes. He was screaming, oh, I bought to buy a case of beer. It was $22, blah, blah, blah. But again, where is your attention? What's going to get you through? What's going to help you move forward? Everything is a part of Satan's program that he's allowed to create. Allowed to create, meaning he's here for a reason. Jesus didn't meet with Satan for no reason. Jesus did not kill Satan. So the idea is Jesus is going to come back and kill Satan is a ridiculous idea. When he was in full power, he couldn't do it. So what? He's not even here, and he's going to come back and kill Satan? Satan's army is taking over the planet right now. People are giving in to negativity, not even knowing what they're doing. I mean, you could do things. I'm not a drinker or smoker or anything like that. You can do those things, but when you're attached to it and it's what you care about and you don't care about anything else, guess what? You're locked into a program. Now, I just mentioned this to a lady an hour ago. Bob Dylan does a video. You can pull it up online. He says, look, I sold my soul to the devil, and it was a good thing I did. Everything he wrote after he did that became gold. If he gave a song to a famous singer, it became a gold song. So he got what he wanted. People that sell themselves to the devil, Lucifer wasn't the devil. Satan will give you anything you want. Why? He wants to keep people in hell. So it was always about getting out of hell, not going into hell. Stopping yourself from going into hell. This is the only place. This you have to understand, people. It's very critical. Pain, suffering, all right? When you get divorced and you go through the separations and you see a child die and you see all those things. Could it get any worse than that? It can't. You could lose your arm, you could lose your leg, you could lose your lower body, you could lose everything. All right, does it get worse than that? No, it doesn't. But guess what? Soul, which is what you are inside this body, what leaves the body when this body dies is not like that. Doesn't have arms and legs that could be cut off. It can't be cut in half, can't be shot, can't be burnt. Soul is eternal. 99.9% of the time. I'm not going to go into that 1%. But here's the thing. When you leave your body, you usually go to the astral plane. There, it's different. The laws and everything else is different there. You're still, most people don't know it, but they're still under three gods. There's three gods that dwell on top of the astral plane. And I don't think anybody, very few people on this planet have a clue or even know. Satnam is one. Jehovah is one as well. And guess who else is there? Lucifer. All right. Lucifer is the highest angel. And he said, oh, they didn't fall. Yes, they did. There's laws in every realm that you go to. And the reason you make it there because your soul is recognized as being a high-level entity, and God allows it. You can always screw up. Once you get to the soul plane, which is the highest that your body and you, that's one, can't go any higher than that in your soul body. You even have to let go of that. But I'm not going to go into that either right now. But when you're going through this idea and you're going into the astral plane, the rules and regulations there are set as well as they are here. Now, Jesus said here, if the laws are unjust, you change them. But whatever they are, you got to live by them. All right, which he did. All right. Now, you don't change. If you change the laws, you make them right. That's a good thing. How many people work on a consciousness level worldwide to change the environment, to change the things that are wrong? Here's things to think about. Nobody thinks about. When is a child an adult? When is an adult a child? Is there a difference? When is a middle-aged person considered the perfect idea of what you're supposed to be? Meaning, what makes them better than a child? Age? Their body gets older. Does that make them more aware? Well, they have more experience in what? Sex, drinking, drugs? See, child is pure. A child is born pure. I mean, I don't want to get into that in detail, but a child when usually born is a pure being, meaning it has karma from its past life, but it's a soul looking to move forward. There's aliens coming into this reality now. That's why there's a lot of people thinking they're walk-ins and everything under the sun. But a child that comes in aware can see angels, can see demons, and all those things. And then what happens? Parents say, you don't see that. That's not real. This ain't real. And brainwash them not to believe anything they know is true. So by the time they're 12, they're being programmed about sex and about love and about everything else. By the time they're 14 and 16, they're conditioned that, all right, go back to the Bible time. When the Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot, when he had to leave the city, and he was told, don't look back, and his wife did, and she turned to stone. All right. Then he had sex with his 2 daughters. I mean, and then created a family again. So is that right or wrong? And somebody asked me, well, we know what's right and wrong. You don't know what's right and wrong. Nobody on this planet knows what's 100% right and 100% wrong. We assume we know because, well, something good should happen when I do that. And if something bad happens, it's not a good thing. But how many parents defend their children when they're evil? So when we talk about religions, the best way to understand and know what a religion is, look at what they do. Not as a church where they go to church and pray on Sunday. But what do they do 6 days a week? What's their hobby? What's their job? What's their sports? What's this? Sports are totally useless, people. Sorry to tell you, I know most men, sports are the only thing important here. Well, because you're limited to that viewpoint. Imagine you took all that energy, all that money, and put it into farming and agriculture and things like that. Our food would be pure and healthy again. Yeah, salt. So, I mean, I say salt. But it wasn't stone either. She really didn't turn into stone. It was salt because she crumbled. And here's the thing, people. That statue's not here. I mean, there's stories. I'm just trying to relate a story, not their truth, because it's all twisted. It's all lies. All right. Jesus talked to him in person. Jesus talked to Satan in person. He was with them 40 days and 40 nights. And they had a great, great battle for the 40 days. Obviously, Satan didn't win, but Jesus didn't kill him either. And he could have. And that's where he would go beyond what's right and wrong. So getting back to where I was, all right, when we believe things, which is 90% of everything you have in your consciousness, is a program about what's right and what's wrong. Well, the speed limit's 70, going over that's wrong. Why? because somebody said 70 is the right speed to go. All right. They determined that going over 55 is dangerous, but there's speed limits around the United States, 60, 65, 70. All right. And, we base it on a lot of things. So when the new cars come out that drive them, all going to be set and programmed with their ideas. All right. Here's the thing. We're going by the programs rather than by what we know and feel and what really is true to us. All right. Back to it again. What age should a child drink? Well, it stumps his growth. It doesn't. Well, it stumps adults' growth. It affects people. It affects all people that drink, not just children. Drugs hurt everybody, not just children. Drugs help people that need it. And they're doing away with that as much as they can. All right. And that's a really sad thing. People that are really sick and in pain are getting their drugs taken away, medicine, where people doing drugs to be high are getting them. We have a serious situation with that alone. Never mind child abuse, child slavery, selling parts, animal parts, baby parts. All these things are happening in greater numbers than ever. More money is floating on the open market, black market, than ever in the universe of history. I don't care if we were trading with aliens or trading with anybody. The number of priced money going out for those kind of things are incredibly high. People don't want to hear the truth. The truth is the United States is selling all the horses to China for meat. Rather than converting and allowing people to have farms and have horses, they're selling them for meat. All right. What they're doing is horrible. Now they're killing baby bears. They're killing baby wolves. They're doing all these horrible things. Why? Now, and this is a part that I perceive, and I know probably nobody else perceives this. The government is still against Native people. Fact. Now, they're destroying any remnants of the Native people. Eagles are being killed right and left. All right. All their symbols. The wolf is being destroyed in great, horrible numbers. The bear is being destroyed, great, horrible numbers. Rather than trying to save them or making sanctuaries and all those things, well, let's save 5 bears while they kill 1,000. Even the dolphins and whales, the most intelligent creature on the planet, is being eaten. Japan slaughters whales and dolphins by the great numbers, and so the Philippines and other countries. They serve dolphins to children in school. Do you think our morals are anywhere close to being a good moral? Any of them? So when we talk about religion, some guy had an idea of this is right or that's right. Let's write a story. And they're basing it on what Jesus said. Were they with Jesus? Did they know he said that? And I'm going to say this, and I know you don't have to believe it, and you probably won't. I was alive when Jesus was alive. I was a female. Mary Magdalene was the closest person to me. She was my best friend. I got to see Jesus right before he was killed. I got to see Mary Magdalene's daughter, which nobody will ever talk about. When the movie came out, what was it? Not The Lost Ark, but one of them. And they actually showed that Jesus might have had a daughter and all that. I wrote a book and I just put it in there, and I didn't want to write about it because I said people will just throw the book out. But it's a fact, a real spiritual fact. I put my life on a line that's true, and I'm only accountable to God, so it doesn't matter what you think. All right. Everything I do is accountable to God only, not to my partner, not to my family, not to anybody. It's only true to God what I say, and if it's not, I am accountable for the lie. I live in that truth. Sorry. Every time during the day, they spraying chemtrails over the sky so much here in Hawaii, it's ridiculous. All right. Here's the thing, people. As we move forward, and hopefully that's where you are, you're looking for the next step you can take spiritually or becoming aware. And the first step is not to listen to people telling stories, doing workshops, and writing books. Why write books? I'm not really into selling them anymore. My first 2 books, I give them away completely free. My My newest book, I haven't even had time to make it an ebook so I can give it away. And that is the true teachings of Jesus from God Realization. And when you got people like David Icke with Danny Brinkley doing workshops on the rainbow body, they don't even know what it means. I don't think that's a funny joke, but dolphins are intelligent. They communicate with you. And when you say things to them, they do it. Like when you go out in the water and you put your hand on them, they'll take you down. They'll take you down as far as you want. When you say you can't breathe, they'll turn around and go back up. The divers use them now, and the government was killing 10,000 a year because they were training them to kill people, which they will not do. So, I'm just, man, just so you know, people, I'm not a comedian, and I don't laugh much. And somebody goes, well, you need to laugh. I said, why? This world is sick. It's hell. There's nothing good going on. And I'm supposed to be laughing and smiling while every second somewhere on the planet a child's being sexually abused, sold into slavery, cut apart, you name it. And I'm supposed to be happy about that? I'm living in hell. Why should I be happy? I'll be happy when I leave, and I'm leaving soon. And I'm glad about that. Now, I had 5 death experiences. Each one of them showed me more and made me understand what it's all about, what's really going on and stuff. But I spent 45 years leaving my body too. Meeting with deities, meeting with angels, meeting with gods. The little gods. There's deities that I call them little gods. All right. Learning about the other realms where you will go when you attain a certain level of awareness and vibration. And when these stupid, I don't know if I can use words against people, these people that say, oh, raise yourself to a 6-dimensional being by doing this meditation. Impossible. You are what you are. You don't change. Not in this reality. All right. Do you want to change? Change into a negative energy form? Change into an entity? Go right ahead. I'm not saying you can get involved. The government's really working hard at that. And when they start cloning humans and animals, you're going to see a lot more horrible things coming out. China and Japan legalized that. They've been doing it. Now it's legal. So when you see the first human animal, you're going to be mind-boggled. I'm not. It's not a good thing. But realize, in Hinduism, a lot of the deities were half animal and half human. Because the first religion was worshiping animals. And then they mixed that with humans and then gave them multiple arms and heads and everything else. But how important were they? What did they teach? Were you there? Were you aware of any of those lifetimes? You should be. Because in those time frames, deities were important. But what were they doing? What were they teaching? Just follow Shiva. I studied with Shiva in the worlds. Not that I wanted to. There's a lot of things that happen that I went through and I learned. You're a victim, or you accept certain things. You get pulled into certain things, and it slows your spiritual growth down or changes it. All right. When I work with Shiva, the creator, the destroyer, everywhere I went for 2 years, it was instant karma for whoever I met, my wife, my friends. I walk in the house and drinking something would smash no matter where I went. I met my ex-wife for the first time. She got it pulled over right then and there and got a speeding ticket. I mean, all these things, everywhere I went, karma was instantly happening to the people around me. And I realized I shouldn't be working with Shiva. I was working with Green Tara, to me, the most important deity. She's in Tibet Buddhism, and she's in Hinduism as well. All right. She's a teacher of compassion, but she's a teacher about the inner worlds. If you work with her, I don't work with statues. I don't work with pictures. They don't give you what you need to learn by working with the deity itself, meaning leaving your body, which very few people can do. I give techniques, and I tell you there's ways to do it and learn it, which you need to do. You need to learn that before you die. And if you don't, guess what? You'll probably be back on the wheel of reincarnating. Because you didn't learn enough. You didn't learn what you need to learn. I'm not going to put you in a spaceship and send you up to somewhere without you having any kind of knowledge. All right, saying you need to get the knowledge of certain things before you can raise your vibration. If I raise your vibration, you could levitate things. You'd just be levitating things and levitating buildings and levitating cars. You'd be playing games with it. That's all man does with whatever he's given, plays games with it. Look at the sports world. Look at the entertainment world. Look at the hobby world. Any of those things spiritually important to anybody? Doesn't mean anything good. Doesn't show you anything good. Now with the aliens really affecting a lot of things going on, greatly soon, you're going to be... They were always afraid it would change your belief system and religion. No, but it's going to hinder what you know. I mean, because when they say Anunnaki created us and then the aliens come here, they might try to call them an Anunnaki, but they're not. We got certain races here. Fact. All right, I put my life on the line about that too. But are you going to follow them? I mean, all the UFO people are starting to follow their programmed ideas, which they get from this experience of being abducted, and they don't use the word abducted. The newest word in the whole UFO world is an experiencer. They make it sound whatever they experienced was good, which it wasn't. Aliens are not here to help us. Oh, well, you listen to all these people. I got a big thing going on with a few people, storytellers, delusional, and all these other words that go along with it. Now, a person that I would love to debate live in front of people is Caroline Corey. She's putting another movie out in a couple months. She put 2 movies out. Watch them. She's going to make you believe that getting inseminated by an alien is a good thing. That clones and drones and people are good. All right. When you water anything down, is it better? Of course not. Diluting something, whatever it is sick. It destroys. It takes away. The government knows what they did with chemtrails. Sorry, I go around a lot of different circles. I'll come back sooner or later. But when they polluted the sky with chemtrails, they polluted the ground. Plants and everything you eat have very few calories and vitamins and minerals that they used to have 25 years ago. And 50 years ago, they were incredibly healthy. They're down to about 20% of what they had 50 years ago. Never mind the toxins and everything else that's being released as well. All sicknesses now are being created by man, not some freak of nature. I mean, I'm not saying aliens haven't been bringing things down for the government to work with, but there's a lot of things that all fit together. But we don't need to know that because it's not going to help us. All right, you want to know how the ships work? Get a book by Fred Bell. He was killed after he did a show with Jesse Ventura a couple years ago. His book, he worked for the government. He remastered some of the ships. He worked on it. Fred Bell, he designs and shows you how they work. But that was technology years ago. It keeps changing. Like we're changing. You don't think aliens move forward 1,000 times faster than we do? As far as technology, if you pull up Billy Meyer's first ship in 1950, they don't drive around in ships like that no more. The Pleiadians have a new kind of ship. It's really cool looking. It doesn't look like that. Oh, people, Sarge L-18, who's disappeared from my world, but we were friends for a pretty long time, and we did all our UFO research together. We filmed more UFOs, creatures, than anybody else in the United States and maybe the planet. All right? Every kind of ship, all kinds of creatures, you name it. And did we get publicity? We got some. But we had a fight. We split up, and he kind of went into hiding. He does that like every 10 years. Then we got together 10 years later. I did a show with Perry Cassidy on her show. We did it for 9 months. We showed pictures of UFOs and ships and creatures and all kinds of stuff every week. Perry Cassidy never even watched one of our shows. And I told him, watch one. Maybe you should bring Sargel on your show. And she never did that either. So people are so locked into their programmed ideas of what's right and wrong, what they should do, rather than looking for the truth. What will bring you to your truth? Helping a homeless person on the street? Think that's going to help you? Going out buying candy and giving it to all the kids in the neighborhood? What do you think is going to help you attain awareness? Go out and listen to some other speaker? The Gaia. Pull up that site. They got all these speakers on healing, medicine, aliens, you name it. Nothing truly beneficial for you as soul. What your soul can do, where you are going to go as soul. Hold on, let me just read this. If you show me a hovertech, you'll confess you know nothing. Look, I was next to a ship. It landed in my yard. Don't tell me what I know, people. Nice knowing you. All right. Sorry. I mean, all right. Where he's going, I have no clue, but I don't need to deal with it right now. I got too much important stuff to talk about. All right. Here's the thing, people. Their technology is not helping us. What they gave to Mr. Tesla, all right, in 1900 was a technology that was going to start destroying the planet. It wasn't to make the planet better, and I don't think anybody really understands that. The weapons and what's being created from that, the HARP system, the most deadliest weapon on the planet, and now CERN's probably almost as deadly as that. Time travel, quantum physics, all right, all those things. Time travel is the biggest destruction out of them all. All right. This is the matrix, and it's molding and folding and folding in on itself as well. Planet Earth could disappear rather soon. We could actually destroy it right now. I mean, they tried blasting an asteroid apart, which they couldn't do. All right. They said now they find mining equipment on an asteroid. I mean, if you follow the things, it relates to ancient aliens, which I don't get into much because a lot of that is only perceived ideas of what they did and what they do. They were all killed out. Most of them were removed. God doesn't get involved with that directly. It allows the lower gods, they call little gods and angels and everything, to fulfill that, to do with that. Satan's doing his role here, corrupting and destroying people that are weak and not ready to grow. Watch the movie Lucifer. It was a really good series. It's on the internet. Not that it's right, but it gives you an idea how to think, how religion-based Satan on and what they talk about the devil. I mean, all those stories. There's a couple movies about a couple of the angels and things. Watch how they translate that even. So when people read the Bible and translate it, forget it. You got no knowledge that's important. All right, yes, it is to keep humans trapped here because it's stuck down here and it's not ready to move beyond that, because then there would be no prison guard. But its purpose is what it's doing, and it likes it. If you like something, if you like cheesecake, you're not going to go out and buy liver and eat liver instead. You're going to do what you like to do, and it likes to entertain people in a bad way. The sexual perversions that's going on right now are incredibly crazy. The idea is you couldn't even imagine any of this stuff 10, 20 years ago. But we're in it. All right. We're in the middle of a major downfall. It could be the end times. I mean, it's talking about it was in Revelations, it's in a lot of things. But we got people like Ed Dames, Major Ed Dames, who talks about end times. Every year he comes and does a workshop about it's going to end. Oh, well, this is my last one. And then he does another one the next year because we're still alive. So he can keep telling the story. Well, he talks about remote viewing and things like that. You listen to these people, you get pulled into their belief system. If you go to a church and you listen to a priest preaching, you go to a rabbi, a minister, whatever you're listening to, Joe Speaker, Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, listen to them talk. Low people with no awareness, listen, wow, living in the moment, we can make everything better. No, it's the same. You're just living in it, being aware of it, and that's all you can do. No, you can change reality by changing where you are at the vibration you vibrate and your awareness. You don't have to stay in hell, people, either. You could allow death to happen tomorrow. I had 5 death experience and I know all about it. Where you go, what happens, what can happen. These people, I listen to every story that I can about a near-death experience, and they're not even aware of what really happened. How do I know? Well, I met my mother, and she said you can't come here yet. I met Jesus, and he said you can't come here yet. It's the same as all these people that say they talk to God. God said love's in the conversation with God, and all those people. Oh, love's the most important thing. It could be, but it's not even close. It only became, realize it's only 2,000 years that we actually became aware of what love is for a word. All right. And it was only shown to the world by Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And they don't even accept that. Christianity doesn't accept that they got married. They don't accept that he had a daughter. So how could they understand what love was? How could Mary Magdalene show it? Well, he allowed her to clean his feet with her tears. I mean, all those stories are not even close to the truth. Mary Magdalene was a spiritual being. She had to teach the disciples what Jesus could not, because he was killed. All right? But she had to finish it. She had to know what she was teaching, or she couldn't teach it, people. So to put her on a shit list, sorry, and not make her the highest person in the church, guess what? And I only found this out, and I should have been on top of this many years ago. Mary Magdalene's skull is in the temple in France, and it's worshipped daily. They say people go in there, have the greatest experiences, become aware of the greatest things, and they said they even feel that if they took the skull and tried to heal a dead person, it would bring them back. So she's considered the highest saint, and that's not recognized in the United States, not much at all. But since I had a past life with her, I realized how true that is. And if I had money and I had the ability, I'd go see it right now. No matter what. The virus can't take me out. Only God can. But here's the thing, people. When you have faith in what? Faith in truth, or faith in lies. I could have faith in lies and nothing's going to happen. Nothing's beneficial. All right. Staying in hell is great for a lot of people. People that love sex, people that love sports, people that love cars. This is the best place to be. Not if you want to learn about how much spirit can do, the actual energy it has, and other things. You don't want to think about giving up sex, which you will do in time as you become aware in the next realms, in the higher realms. You don't have a solid body. You don't need sex. It's not beneficial. You don't have the five psychic ability, the senses that the human brain has. Sense, smell, sight, touch, and all those kind of things. You don't have that because you don't have this solid body that you needed. You don't need a sense of burning when you can't be burnt. All those things are useless to a soul, but it's important to a physical body. So if you're attached to that, you're going to want to come back. You're not going to think about moving forward. So when you're attached, attachment, a horrible word, is what keeps most soul coming back. Not Satan itself. Satan says, come back and you'll get a better life. All right, I'll give you more stuff. And then you'll come back. But as a sports player, they didn't make it. Well, I'll come back and I'll be the champion. I'll be this. I'll be the number one boxer. A sport that should have been eliminated a long time ago. Legally get paid to beat somebody up. But if I beat somebody up on the street, I go to jail. Does that make any sense? If I get a bunch of people to pay me to beat somebody up, should I stay out of jail? We have 6 scenarios, and we accept them. All right. How about, I don't know, the power's getting screwed up for some reason. If I get cut off, you know why. Here, okay, I was dealing with Christianity. Let's move to Muslim religion without getting condemned and attacked and all those other words. You need to follow and look up their belief system, what it really means, what they believe in, what's going down. See what happens if I shut this off. I look different. All right. What's going to happen, people? Here's the thing. Okay. You know, time can stop for a second. It could stop for a year. It could stop for 100 years. And if you're not aware of it, what good was it? So what I'm saying is, when we talk about reincarnation, if you're not aware of all your lifetimes, what good are they? When you come back in this lifetime thinking you're going to be a #1 sports player, you're not even going to remember sports. You're going to think whatever your family programs you to believe in again. You're born into a Christian family, you might be programmed into religion, brought into a nudist colony family, you'll be more into that. Whatever you're brought into will be your programming for the beginning of your life, and then it grows as they feed you more information. So just because you reincarnate and come back as the top person, the workshop, I was going to do it today. I wanted to do it yesterday, but so many things are happening. I realized my partner is still not out of the woods, and I'm dealing with that constantly. Hopefully, in about 2 weeks, she's supposed to be able to be almost normal, meaning able to go out and walk around and do a couple things that she can't do right now. I mean, I'm up a lot during the night. I mean, I got to make a coffee at 3 o'clock in the morning and things like that. I don't sleep right now, and I'm afraid. I was afraid to even do the show today, but I just had, where's my drink? And I need a drink. I need a drink. Where'd it go? I don't see it. I don't have a drink. Yes, I do. And I'm drinking this for a reason, and I'll tell you after I take a sip. To try to keep me awake. Sorry. I don't drink coffee. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. So it's a little different from me. But here's the thing, people. I'm trying to bring the workshop into a reality for anybody, because I realize I have a few other people that, like in other countries, that have no money, don't have a specific time they could get involved with it. All right. And I'm not locking truth out. I'm not like everybody else. Only spiritual people can know the truth. Only this can know that. It's about putting the truth out there, people. And I'm trying to get into that, and I will. And I promise by this week I'll have another class just for that. But I'm trying to finish a book up on what's happening to the world in the danger zone for women. And it's so scary. I'm in the middle of it. I actually have a case against the Boy Scouts and things like that as well. All right. And it's coming to a head. I just had to do this thing for the court case and everything else. But, you know, mankind is sick, perverted. They don't want the truth. The workshop's not really complicated if you listen to what I say. The most important thing is to tilt this, sorry, a little bit down. The most important thing is to learn how to leave your body. Then once you can do that, when you do, is meeting your guides or angels. And they're there, people. It's not imaginary. Well, how do you know you're not wrong? If you live in doubt, you're only going to experience doubt. If you live in a belief, you're going to live in the idea that it could be true. Knowing this means when you have an experience, you know it's real. If I smash your finger with a hammer, you're going to know it's real. Did I make it up? No, your finger's black and blue, it's falling off, whatever. So there's ways to prove whatever you experience for yourself. It's any of your experiences, in most cases, aren't meant to make the world believe it. Jesus dying didn't change the world at all. All right. A lot of people don't believe he was real, don't believe in any of that, which is sad. The most spiritual person to walk this planet, most people don't believe he was a real person. All right. And sure, there's this, that. Now, I watched all the specials where they found supposedly where his bones were supposed to be put at rest, where they thought the Ark of the Covenant was, and all these different things. So, we're at a place where you need to find your own truth. And you can't find it in somebody else. But when you say you have a truth, you need to have one. If I say, what's your truth? Okay, Richard, put what your solid truth is. Type it in there right now. Go ahead. What is your truth? All right, because I ask people, what's your truth? Well, I got my truth. They say, well, what is it? Well, it's my truth. I said, well, if it's just yours, and then it's probably not real. If it can't work for the whole world, it's not a real truth. Truth means it works for everything. It's not individualized. Well, truth only works for spiritual people. No, truth is there, whether you perceive it or want to perceive it. All right. Basically, your programs go against the truth 90% of the time. Because when you hear the truth, you can say, well, that's not true. Because why? An alien said something different? The Pope said something different? The Pope says hell doesn't exist. He said Adam and Eve was a fake. The Pope actually said Adam and Eve was a fake story. And now, this coming year, let me see if I can say the word right. Chrislum, Christ, Christ, Lum, meaning Muslim. So they're building a church. It's going to be a joint church. Sadly, they have different beliefs. Muhammad got his truth from... All right. If you follow the truth, pull up the history, pull up the teachings, fill up where they came from. Muhammad met an angel. First time he didn't know who it was. So his brother told him who it was. How could his brother tell him what angel he met? Then he said he met Gabriel. And Gabriel gave him his teachings. Read his teachings. Go ahead. They contradict each other. There was like 36 that I read. And I'd say 20 of them contradicted the one before it. One would say, do not talk to people. One says, talk to everybody. How could that be a combination? You can't do both. See, contradictory proves that it's coming from a mind. Well, I would say Satan's mind would give contradictory. His demons could do anything. They can come to you as whatever you want them to be. They're not solid objects, so they don't have to be what you perceive Satan to be. Ask people that said they work with Satan. I did. It's just like watching Lucifer. Watch when he shows his true self. There's things that, and I'm not ready to give it to people yet because people aren't learning how to leave their bodies. When you leave your body and you meet with angels, deities, demons and stuff, you got to know how to challenge them, how to prove and different things when you're there. You don't just listen to them because somebody's standing there. What do you feel? What do you see? What is the aura that you see coming off of it? Can you see an aura yet? Seeing a person's aura is very important for here. You could look at a person, stare at them, and then see what color and what their aura radiates at, and know where they come from spiritually, psychically, and physically. I stopped looking because I don't see people with good auras. And that's scary. I spent 2 years completely aware, meaning I could see everybody's aura, know what they're thinking. It's called empathic. All right? And like walking down the street, I go walking past a person. I wouldn't even say, but I heard what he said. You know what I did? Excuse me, would you really do that to your daughter? And they would like flip out of their skin. When you confront somebody with their invisible lie, it blows them away because how could he know? What would he know about my thinking? So, after doing that every day, I did it at least once to one person because I always wanted to make sure that I wasn't making up these feelings that people were thinking. I never confronted a person where they didn't jump out of their skin. All right. And that's something you can learn. But you might learn you don't want to do it because you don't see beautiful lights walking down the street. Auras beautifully shining and stuff. In my whole life, and I'm not lying, I'm 69 as of last week, saw anybody's aura that radiated more than a foot I only saw 3 people. All right. Everybody else didn't even have an aura around their body. I mean, radiating like light. Everybody that drinks and smokes, their aura is cloudy, brown, and gray. The more they smoke, the more they drink, you'll see holes in the aura as well. Right away, you know what they do with their life. Red means they're angry people. The aura tells you a lot about that person. White or blue means they're at some spiritual level. Not a super high one, but they're at a spiritual level. I say an aware state. All right, mean they understand God and they reflect on things that are keeping them in balance. And that raises their vibration. So, searching for it. It's right there. It's always right there. Whether you're open to it or not is where the problem is. Most people are so programmed not to open the box. When you're a little kid, the demons are under your bed. They're not real. The demons in your closet aren't real. The tooth fairy's real. I mean, this is real. Those programs affect the way you think. Because all those things you're told are real are taken. And then you're fed more garbage to believe in later on. Ghosts aren't real. They are. A lot of souls don't get to leave this realm. They have nowhere to go because they're not aware beings. They have no path, no guides. So where do they think they're going? Murderers? Where do they go? This is hell. When you see all these TV shows about ghosts and spirits, I mean, they're real in a lot of ways. I don't know how much they make up. I'm sure they make up a lot as well. But these people that are in these houses haunting them, they got nothing else. There's nothing else for them. And it'd be like that until someday some soul goes in there and helps them. Most of these shows, they don't give them help. I watch Death Files. This woman's incredible. Watch it. But she doesn't do all the work when it's all released what's going on. She says get a priest in, get a healer, get a psychic, get this, and get this done. People that work with that specific thing. She can talk to demons and angels and everything. And she'll come out of the house and say, you need to get out of the house. You can't get rid of the demons that are in it. She's 100% right on what she says to these people. I mean, she's not hiding things. She works with a person. And it's incredible because it's so honest to me. All right? If I ever found out they were fake, I would just lose faith in everything that I know. But I think she's 100% real. And what she does, I mean, she draws pictures before they get to the facts, and then they show it to the family and things like that. But it's understanding what's happening in this realm now. And it's growing. It's outrageous how bad entities, ghosts, spirits are all becoming active right now. I could go into all the details about that, but it's not a spiritual thing to get into. It has to do with the Montauk Project, the Philadelphia experiment, and what they did about creating a vortex and opening it. All that, the government can't close it. All these entities, demons, creatures are coming in. They can't stop it. CERN is doing the same thing, people. There's people that actually said there's creatures coming through the hole now. So do you think it's going to be public anytime soon? No, they would be shut down or blown up or something. They never released the truth. I was involved with CERN. I'm not CERN, SETI. But the people involved with that, they were killed. They told me they were going to die in a month, and they did. They were both died, the president and vice president. They told me how and everything. A lot of my friends in the UFO world said they're going to be killed, and they were. Fred Bell, who I told you to pull up his book, when he was on a show with Jesse Ventura, and the first thing Jesse Ventura says, aren't you afraid of the government coming after you? And he says, no, I work for the government. And then he said, well, what about me? And Fred Bell said to him, well, you're protected. You're mainstream. They can't do anything to you. 2 days later, Fred Bell was dead in the hotel room before he even left. So, working for the government like Luis Elizondo, who I'm trying to get in touch with people, anybody out there, any kind of connections, I've been trying for 4 months, wrote him every kind of letter under the sun. and he's not getting in touch with me. Either he's still working for the government in detail and he can't, or he's afraid to. All right? Most of the UFO people are afraid of me because I challenge them on their lies, not their truth, because they don't have any. The few people that do, I'm hoping to bring one of my friends on. Maybe this is, I wanted to do it before Christmas. This is like the last week he has a chance to, before Christmas. Who has a pretty incredible life. He was friends with Barney Hill. He was young. His family were friends with them, and that whole UFO story. But he's a psychic, high. I don't know what the proper words are, but he says he's one of the highest there is. So I'd love to bring him on. But I don't bring people on because most people are liars in every way or just don't know the truth. Do you want the truth? This is the only place I can say that I know I'm giving you my truth. It's 100% my truth, whether you want to accept it or not. It's your choice. If you don't like it, don't stay here. If you do, listen. Then try to prove it and understand it yourself. Searching is a great thing. We have to be searchers. Keep looking. Never give up. Never give in. Don't accept the lies. Here's a statement. It was given to me from a religion I was in, but it's really an important statement. God realization is as easy or as hard as we make it. And 99.9 people make it harder. All right. God's communication is directly in us if we want to tune into it. Sure, the angels and everything else work with us because we can't do that. And people say they do. Well, living here isn't the answer because you're going to leave here. Hopefully you won't come back if you leave spiritually or aware. There's no reason to come back. You're not coming back to your family. Why come back? To go into sports, to go into a hobby, to go into what? Why would you want to come back here when the next place you could go is incredible? An astral plane is cool. Not cool enough. The third, fourth, and fifth worlds, the fifth world is where soul stays, but those worlds are so incredible. Imagine being an idea of what you could even perceive as a god and all those kind of ideas. So it's incredible what it is, what we really are. And we choose to stay in this little puny body in a sick world. So tell me that's spiritual. Tell me why a spiritual person would stay here. All right. Jesus doesn't have to come back to rescue the people that want to leave. There's not that many. He's teaching. He has a temple where he teaches, and people go to it. Souls do. All right, higher souls. He's moving on just as we move on. Everybody moves on, hopefully. I can get into the higher worlds, but not in this talk today. Maybe in the workshop. I got steps to do in my workshop, which I want to get people to go through first. Anybody. I have very few people that really, really worry or care about the truth. All right. So, Richard, like I said, want to have a conversation. You got questions. I said my Skype line is always open to people that are in my workshop. You want to talk about specific things. You want to get into specific things, please. Directly. Because other people don't want to hear it. Well, I don't want to do an exercise. I don't believe in that. No, it's not that. You want the truth. Are you ready to listen? That's all that I ask you. If you want a question answered, please text me. All right? I mean, this is about spirit and God, not about people here. We're too lame, too stupid, too dumb, all those words. When we never can be God. Never, ever, ever. Nobody will ever become that. Look at it this way. For 10 billion people unfolding daily, God unfolds 1 billion times greater. So do you think you could ever catch up to that? No, it'll never happen. God allows souls to go past it. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not going to get into that now. Ask me about that personally. All right? And there's reasons and all that. There's the spiritual travelers, they're called. All right? most people are not anything other than a person living on planet Earth. Are they useful to God? No. Nobody here is useful to God. I'm all right. I'm trying to help people. Is that useful to God? What percentage? 2%? 1%? How many people on the planet am I helping? My brother says, well, if I help one person, I'm doing it great. Well, you are for that one person. What about the millions of people that want to take a step forward and have no clue how to do it? Religion's not going to give it to them. Zechariah, Eckhart Tolle is not going to give it to him. These people, famous, rich, programming people that believe they're better and they're more important and all these words. It's all a lie. You don't know God. You don't know nothing. You don't know about leaving the body. You know nothing about soul. Only what you're told, and then what you can perceive out of that. People, send this link to everybody. It's open. Again, I will do a show anytime about a specific question if it's important. Come on if you want and ask questions live. It's your choice. I don't hide from the truth. If I don't know it, I don't know that much. I don't know much about cars. I don't know much about airplanes. But death, reincarnation, angels, love. Took me a long time. It took me till this lifetime, till almost the end of it, to understand that word. And let me say this. When I was with Jesus, I had 2 incredible past lives out of hundreds. One was in Atlantis, and one was when I was with Jesus. All right. Why would I come back to this world now? I got my answer. It took me about a couple years ago to get the real reason, the ultimate reason why I did it. When you're a higher being, a higher energy, you can reincarnate if you want to, which is like, why would you want to if you're an aware being? But being aware with a specific problem, you need to work that problem out to go higher. Meaning so that you don't ever reincarnate again. And there's no reason to. All right? Letting go of everything. You can still be in a relationship, still be married, still have children. Be responsible for as long as you have this body. All right? Work and feed your children, make sure they have clothes on and things like that. But give them information. Give them something important like God is real. Learn about yourself as soul. Nobody teaches much of that at all. Meditation is useless. Buddha had his whole teaching about becoming one with the oneness. And New Age world is all into the universal energy, one with the universe. Nothing. What's that going to do? I know where the moon is. I know where the sun is. I'm a star. What are you? A spark of knowingness of what? How planets move around and meteorites come and go and UFOs crash into them and all these other things. What do you want to be one with that for? Well, if it's going to rain here or going to snow. Really? Universal world consciousness of all people. Who do you want to be one with? Name one person on this planet that you would want to be spiritually connected to. Your mother, your father, your children. You say that because you love them now. What are they going to become? What's their destiny? How many times are they going to reincarnate before they move into a higher level? Are you helping them with that? Why not? Because you don't know any better. People here don't know anything. How can they help people move forward? Well, I fed a person that was standing on the street starving. And? Did it change the world? People think doing good things makes you spiritual. It doesn't. It's a program. Oh, be good. The Good Samaritan. The stories. Jesus didn't tell all those stories. It's written, but who wrote them down? Storytellers. Again, a couple of the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, only 2 of those were real disciples. And what were they writing? Revelations was written by John, and John had the highest awareness as far as what was going on. So when he wrote about the future, Revelations, and what's happening, even if you're not a Christian, you should read it, because it's outside the rest of the whole Bible. It kind of doesn't fit in there, the same as the book of Enoch didn't fit in the Bible. We can't put giants in with this whole story. It doesn't fit. Take it out. Oh, we can't talk about this God is coming down and killing the demons, and that doesn't fit. Take that out. Let's put the program idea of what God is that we programmed them to believe in. What Jesus was, which we programmed to believe. Jesus never said he was God. So how did it become reality? Mankind creates his own protection. Well, he forgive my sins. He died not to forgive your sins, people. He died to prove soul doesn't die. Big difference. Soul doesn't die. It's eternal. If you're not aware of that, the idea of it is useless. Saying I'm eternal. And what do you know? What can you prove? What do you know about? People say, well, how do you know? I said, I'm aware of all my lives back to Atlantis. Well, how can you prove it? You don't need to prove your reality to the world, because that's not what it's about. This is only about you as a soul learning to become aware of what you are. Soul is individualized. It's not a group consciousness. Soul becomes aware of itself, and then it becomes God realized. It doesn't become God, but it becomes realized that it is working under God itself. Are the most intelligent, incredible, useful device for God. So these things don't happen. And why? Because mankind is so attached to the programmed ideas of sports, hobbies, sex, and everything else. I mean, it's fun. It's cool. But if you don't look beyond and say there's something better than that for me, you're not going to find it. If you're looking in a bar, how are you going to find God? Well, I found God in a bar. I was drinking and God said, get out of there. All right. I can go into that story, but I don't know if I have time to get into it. A simple story. Do you like stories? Do you want me to give you a story? I was a born-again Christian for about a year. I was separated. I was alone. And I was searching for God. I was always searching for God, but I spent that time doing it. So I became a born-again Christian. I was going to a church 6 days a week, 3-4 hours a day. All right. And I thought I was getting somewhere. All right. But a born-again Christian believes they gave their sins away. They accept God. They're purified. And you pray to God. Everything you do is in the name of God. Well, that's true when you're an aware being. But you don't say, I'm doing this in the name of God. I'm going to eat in the name of God. I'm going to feed this person in the name of God. I'm going to go smoke in the name of God. No, it's not like that either. Being aware, you're aware of who and what you really are, meaning your capabilities. I was 16 and I had 32. There's 32 psychic abilities, and I was able to use 30 of them. But I learned my own experience, direct experience with them. They cannot be used in this reality anymore. Well, do good things. There's no such thing as doing good things. I challenged somebody on that today. How do you know what you do is good? Well, I saved somebody from drowning. How do you know they're not going to go out and be a killer, murderer, rapist, whatever? How do you know he's not just going to come down with cancer and suffer for 20 years? I mean, good thing versus a bad thing. We don't know the reality of something. When you're an aware being, you know what's going to happen to that person. And you usually don't change it. The first spiritual law, people, is the law of non-interference. Meaning you cannot interfere in anybody else's life. When somebody like Carol Corey says she's going to change DNA of the world, of people, that's an invasion of everybody's space. I'm trying to think of his name. Somebody that claimed he can change the world consciousness. He has the Ark of the Covenant, and he needs money to link his with the one the government has, and he's going to change the vibration of the planet. Does he really believe he has the right to do that? and he's famous. Uh, the string theory, he redesigned it. It's a weird name. I guess he's from some Israel country or something like that. But it's uh, I'm bad with names. I have always been bad all my life with names, faces, who they are. I could age a person from 10 to 50, but to say their name, I'll never remember it. But getting back to this story, I'm going to tell you it real fast. All right, I was going to this church for a year. I was a magician, stage magician, as well. I was a high priest as well. All right, but it came to a point when I was in the church. I had to sign a piece of paper saying I will donate 40% of my salary to the church. So I looked at the preacher and said, "Well, I'll give 90% of my check when I can, but I need whatever I need to pay my bills and for food." "Well, then sign 40%. "I don't know what 40% is. I don't know what my rent is. I don't know what anything is. How can I give 40% of that? I will give more. If I have money in my hands, it'll go to the church." I was willing to give everything over to the church as long as I could pay for the roof over my head and buy food. "Oh, no, you have to sign this." I said, "No, I don't. God didn't ask me to sign a 40% mark. God knows where I am, where my heart is. It's not about a percentage." And most religions talk about donating 40%. How many people can do that today and survive? Well, it's to make them survive and not you. But I don't know. I said, I walked out of there thinking about that. That night there was an evangelist coming. So I went to see him. And I walked into church, and he was really right on, believe it or not. And he was a psychic evangelist, which they bring in every couple months. And he gives prophecies, he gives a lot of things. So I'm there listening, and he goes, "I'm going to do it the way he did. All right? This might blow you away, but he's, one of you tonight is going to walk out that door and never come back." My heart just lit up. My whole body shook. I said, he knows me. He sees me. He knows who I am, what's happening. I rode a bike from where I lived to the church. Got on my bike and I was riding home. I said, how did he know? All right. And I get home. I was living with a friend and his wife, and I was helping him. We did magic together, stage magic, but he was creating a game and he wanted me to draw the cover of the game, which I did. It was a sex game. He was perverted, but which I found out. But here's the thing. He says, "You can't join the priesthood, the church. It'll break our magic up." And he said, "You either got to decide to stay here or you can leave." So now I'm in this thing. This psychic evangelist said, "I'm going to leave the church forever," which I did. And now this person's saying, "Well, you're going to leave here if you don't become and let go of the church." And I said, "Well, what do I believe in? I believe in the church has no clue about God. I believed he was a sick person. And I left both. Not that I didn't follow other religions, which I did. I went through 14 religions to see if anybody could talk about God. But at that point, it was a shocker. I went outside. It was midnight, sitting on a step. And at that point, I said, here's the thing, people. God, Lucifer, Satan, whoever's out there, can you hear me?" I said, "You got a choice. Satan, if you're so powerful, just burn down that block right now. Go ahead, I'll let you." All right? And that's where I was. And I said, "God, make a girlfriend appear in my life right now." All right? And I said, "You've both got time. I'll give you 24 hours. Or that's the end of this, me living on this planet." All right? Next day, I met a girlfriend. She became my wife. All right? I was with her 20 years. But I have this canny ability to challenge God. It saved my life a couple times. I had ulcers, peptic duodenal ulcers, and they went to cut my stomach out. And I said, "God, I don't want to live like this. Take it away, or I can't live on this planet." I had the worst horrible pains all night long. And then I went to the hospital because they had to re-x-ray me for the operation. And then the doctor says to me, nothing's here. We can't operate. There's nothing wrong with your stomach. I said, oh, thank you for that. I mean, I have problems with my stomach after that, but it was never bleeding and never had all those serious things go along with that. All right. I challenged God a couple other times. I'm bad at that. Now the good side, I'll show you how I am. Years later, I wanted to do something specific for God. And I suggest to anybody out there, don't even think of it. And you probably wouldn't want to. I said to God, I want to take all the pain and suffering that you get from this world for 1 second. That's what I asked for. The next day I went to work. My arm was paralyzed. I couldn't move. And I ended up going to the hospital, having a major operation. I had to cut a bone out of my hip and put it in my neck. And I was laid up for 6 months. But to me, if that was a chance for God not to deal with this planet for 1 second, to me it was worth it. Wow, whatever happened there was something different and interesting. That never happened before. But yeah, that's strange. That never happened on my show. I mean, I blacked out for a second, 4 seconds, but that was the longest, and I watched the black ring go around in circles and everything else. So it was really weird. But I tell you the truth. This is my life. I don't deal with anything outside of the truth. I'm accountable to God. So if I lie to you, I'm lying to myself. And I will pay the consequences, which I don't want to do. Most people don't want the truth. I know that. But I'm going to give it out until I leave this planet. All right? I live in a Buddhist Lama, and it's hard because they don't believe in God. But I made a commitment to her. I don't break commitments. I don't lie to people. She's disabled. Would I walk away from her? Can I? She just had a pacemaker put in her chest. She died 3 times. Woke up. She was in pain, screaming, and said, I need to go to the hospital right now. And when she got to the hospital, she died. And they shocked her. She came back. A little bit later, she died again. They shocked her and brought her back. Third time she died, they pounded on her heart and shocked her, and she came back. And then they said, she's the luckiest person they know. They said, she's really lucky. But, you know, things that happen for a reason. Everybody has karma. The karma has to be paid, people. It doesn't disappear. So when you learn about your past lives, you'll understand how much karma you have. I can tell you this, in all my lifetimes, I was a priest, I was a minister, I was a rabbi. I was native in 2 lifetimes. I mean, I could go on. So I experienced the things that are supposed to be religious or spiritual or good. Something that I know, and this is why I'm where I'm at. I didn't kill people in any of my lives. All right? And if I did it right now, it would screw me up incredibly. All right? And I know that. But I am protected to what happens to me and to what things come around me. I mean, I came close to death many times. Came close to a lot of serious things like killing people. Luckily, Spirit changed the situation so that it couldn't happen. Satan creates his own truth for people, and they accept it. Religion's a belief program. Again, it doesn't talk about a real God. It doesn't talk about what's really going to happen to you when you let go of this body. And people don't want to talk about that either. They're so ingrained with living longer. And who wants to live forever? The movie Highlander was my favorite movie. And it was basically they were killing each other to become God. The energy of the person they killed went into them, and they became greater. And at the end, he becomes God. And that became a movie. There was 4 movies made. The first one and the fourth one were incredible. The third one was all right. The second one was ridiculous. I don't want to get into that, but it was my favorite movie. But basically, it's about becoming God. Now, Queen did the song "Who Wants to Live Forever." Think about it. Living forever here. What would it mean? Seeing everybody you know die. Is that what you want? You have a dog, you have a cat, have anything. I'm going to watch him die. I worry about my dog dying. I know he can't live forever. I know I'm going to live forever. But to see it happen and know it, you can see everybody you know, your families, your children, everybody die. Is that what you would want? When they came out with the pill a couple of years ago, live 40 years longer? 40 years means you're going to see a lot of people you know die. They don't talk about what happens around that, what kind of slavery we're going to be in, and all the other things. People look at the twisted lies and build their reality from that and are happy with it. All right, yeah, I know. My computer froze. This show froze, so it's weird. But again, people, you want the truth? I promise you, I give you whatever I can here. I was going to get into the alien things. I don't feel like going that way right now. I'm trying to keep you more ingrained with the idea of becoming spiritual, becoming aware, dealing with what you need to worry about, not aliens. I mean, they're going to affect us. They have been and all that, but you don't need to dwell on that part of it. You need to be experiencing the awareness part, what you can bring into your reality. Learning to leave your body. Start trying to understand your past lives. That can happen in your dream state. Work on it at nighttime. Create a dream log, and all those things will help you. I mean, that's what I wanted to do the workshop for. But I might pick one. I even said it. After I finish the workshop, I'm going to do specific topics for one thing alone at a time. Because it's hard to do one topic and not get into all the details and try to get other topics along with it, because each one needs the time and all the experience that goes along with it to be part of it. So it's hard to do a workshop that I'm doing. Nobody could do it other than me. And basically, I'm talking about Buddha, freaking even in Eckankar, Harold Klemp. His teachings are so lame. It's, the technique is what they teach, and that's the most important part of Eckankar. It's learning how to leave your body, the techniques to work with to do that. Outside of that, the programming and becoming an initiate, becoming what level, and all the twisted stories and fantasy ideas that these people have. I can get into that whole story, but I don't want to. I was thrown out of Eckankar because they were afraid of me. All right? The truth is the fear from mankind. Because then they realize they're living in hell. And they don't want that. They don't want to know that. Somebody has to. Let me just put this out there for him. All right. He keeps calling me Tony. It's Tommy. Dream research is really critical. I spent years doing that, keeping a dream log. But try to program your dreams before you go to sleep. Try to create what you want to happen, which helps a real lot. I mean, your dreams, you'll have 100. Probably 2 of them when you go to rapid eye movement and all that, when you're going into a state where you're actually experiencing your past lives, is really critical. But when you come out of it, you usually remember your last dream, which is overpowering all the things you might have been aware of during your whole dream. So another technique, which is not advisable for some people, but having a clock wake you up every hour. But not something that's going to totally shock you, but something that's going to wake you up slowly, and then you'll be in your dream and being aware of it. When you dream, the worst thing to do is jump out of bed, get up, or even open your eyes. When you wake up, Sit there and think about the dream that you're in right now, or you just had, and what you had experienced. It'll keep that information more with ingrained within you. All right. Uh, so here's the thing. I'm almost done today. Uh, whatever you want, whatever you desire, you can get it. Make sure it's what you want. I remember somebody telling me when you ask God for something, always ask for 10 times more. So this way, if you get 1%, you'll be happy. Instead of asking for $100, ask for $10,000. So if you get $100, you'll be happy. I mean, it's the games that people create and ideas that they create. Realize you can basically Satan will give you anything you want. Now, money's going to be given to a lot of people if that's what they're really into. Investing in the new batteries that are coming out next year will be the best way to make money. If you have money to waste or spend or put into it, I don't. I owe a lot of money. I mean, I don't do this show. I pay to do the show. I mean, I'm not getting paid to do the show. I lectured. I didn't make money. They paid for the plane. They paid for the hotel. I mean, it wasn't like I was making $1,000. These speakers, like, I'm not going to say all their names, but all these people from Ancient Aliens and stuff get $20,000 to do a workshop to speak 2 hours, and they know nothing. Give me $100, $1,000, and I'll give you as much truth as you want. These people come to a conference, and they're the main speaker, and they say, "Well, I think aliens are real. I think UFOs are real. I think." You should be beyond that. But see, money makes the world go round. Money makes people think they're important. Money makes a lot of things happen. But I repeat this every time as often as I can. Jesus said it 4 times in the Bible, and he said it many times to people. It's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. I put that on every rich person's site every time I can. Musk, Gates, all right. Whether they realize that or not is a different story. I mean, when even Musk or Gates says, "I'm going to donate five," his taxes are going to be what, $4 billion. I put underneath it, what percentage of your money is that? Guess what? What percent is it? We have to pay what, 20% up to 26% on our credit cards and stuff. How much do they pay on anything that's not given to them? And then the government gives them money on top of that for what? Their ideas? We're in a sick world, people. We're not in heaven, nowhere close. Mankind doesn't create good things. I wish they did. I wish there was a possibility for that to even happen. So with that, people, are you ready to move forward? Think about it. I'm going to put something in the chat room real fast. Sorry, I can't even see. My eyes are so bad, I need an operation on them as well. I need a couple operations, but I'm not supposed to get a better medical until the new year, so I'm waiting. Okay, things can be capitalized or not, it doesn't matter. All right. This is where anybody interested in anything important, anything about spiritualism, my workshop, send it to that Truth and God Only at AOL.com. I mean, Hawksblood 1 is my main site. I'm in it 24 hours, day and night. I go into Truth and God, not all the time. So it might stay there for hours without me seeing it. I'm trying to go in it more often because I'm trying to tell people to go in it that have any questions. I just got involved with a person that needed a lot of work. We stayed on Skype for an hour or two. My time's important to whoever needs it. not to myself. I'll give whatever a person needs to them if it helps them, period. I'm not doing anything for money. Remember that. Sure, money's always grateful when it comes, but I'm not begging for it. I'm not making you give it to me. And I feel you shouldn't pay for things if you don't feel it's worth anything. Why should you? When it comes to spiritual truth, especially if you don't think you're getting any, why would you want to pay for it? I mean, if something outrageous happens, you want to donate something, that's fine. But I'm not asking you to. You have to do what you feel is right for yourself, always. When you go to a restaurant, how much are you supposed to tip them? Well, they say 20% you should tip a person. Somebody has to tell me how much I'm supposed to tip a person when I feel how much I felt that they did good or bad. They didn't gave me lousy service. I'm supposed to give them a 20% tip. Again, we have to know who and what we are, what we're doing, and what we give back to this world. We give back in a lot of ways, mostly bad ways, but sometimes good ways. Are you ready to move into the good side of yourself? Understanding what that means. How do you become good? How do you become aware? What do you do when you're an aware being? It's a lot different. You don't have to give everything up. Well, if you smoke, you're going to go to hell. You drink, you go to hell. You're going to do drugs, you're going to go to hell. No. But what do you do when you do them? Do you hurt people? Do you hurt other people? Are you helping yourself? Well, if I do ayahuasca, I see God. No, you don't. You see your mind's programs of what it perceives. So, but if you never left your body, I will tell a person, if you have to do a drug like LSD or something once, or ayahuasca, do it. Do it in a protected situation and don't make it a habit. See, people think that the more you do it, the more you can get into. Doing drugs gets you out of the body, but it doesn't bring your spiritual guides to you. It doesn't protect you. It doesn't do any of those things. Somebody offered me to work with people doing it. I said, no, I don't want to. That's open battlefield. When you step into that realm on drugs, there is no protection. Entities, everything throws their stuff at you. So, like I said, it's to break the wall down, knowing that you can get out of your body. That's the first thing you have to realize is possible. All souls can do it. They just have to become aware of it. So, people, again, Truth in God Only is where I suggest anybody that wants to get more involved with a workshop that I'm doing or involved personally, please do. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to give you lies and stories. I'm not trying to become super famous. I could have been rich if I lied to people. I mean, exaggerating stories and telling false stories and all that make people want to be a follower or give money. And I can't be like that, and I never could. I can't lie. So here's my final words. Peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life, I hope you find it. Don't ever give up. Don't accept anybody else's stories. Find your truth for yourself. Make it real to you. Make it beneficial. Having a truth that doesn't do anything is not the truth. If it can't help you move forward, it's not the truth. Well, I'm more what? Aware of what? Do you know anything more about God, death, and reincarnation? If you don't, it's not helping you. All right, people. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. Lots going on this island. But I next time, I got to do my UFO stories tomorrow with Tina. We do a UFO thing with all that kind of stuff tomorrow. Hawksblood 1, pull it up. It'll pull up it if you don't have the link. Email me at hawksblood1al.com. If you need the link for the show for tomorrow or people that need the show, they could email me. But I'm sure they can find it if they go to Hawksblood 1 live, and it'll pull up my show for tomorrow. I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Facebook. I got my links on all those sites, so friend me on those sites, hawksblood1al.com. and you'll be able to get the site link there as well. So with that, till next time, peace. Tommy Hawksblood here, closing out, over and out. Till what day in the end of this week, hopefully, we'll see.